Let's talk about cool, renewable energy, specifically for places in harsh winters like Canada, where we are now. A new wind turbine, the Nordex N175/6.X, has launched, and it's engineered to tackle extreme cold and low wind conditions, which have always been a major hurdle for wind power. This isn't a minor upgrade, it's a game changer that could significantly boost clean energy production where it's previously inefficient or impossible. Like, say, out in the Northwest Territories where there's no population.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this, John?
Yeah, so this is really cool. So just to kind of paint the picture for you, think of ice on wind turbine blades like ice on airplane wings. You've been in planes, if you've flown, they have to de-ice, right? So because it completely disrupts the aerodynamics, and it also can reduce energy production by up to 80%, or it can even force the turbine to shut down entirely. So in cold climates like us here in Canada, this could mean weeks of lost power generation during winter months when electricity demand and prices are typically at their highest, right? So this new turbine solves this problem, and it's using proven technology. So what it does is it essentially heats the blades from within to prevent ice formation, rather than waiting for ice to build up, then trying to remove it. So what this system does is it ensures that the turbine can operate continuously, even during harsh winter storms, maximizing energy production when it's needed most. And apparently it has a 25-year operational lifespan, potentially extendable to 35 years. So this turbine represents a major advancement in making wind energy reliable and profitable in cold climate regions worldwide. As we know, there's a lot of wind up there. So the N175/6.X turbine can function effectively in temperatures as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius, or for you US listeners, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, thanks to this anti-icing system, which is really cool. I love this. I think this is great. Obviously, there's a lot of wind in the Arctic and Antarctic and up north. And even here in Canada, in Ontario, there's a lot of cold wind. We get those Arctic, or what, the polar vortexes and stuff. I think this is really cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think I'm not 100% sold on wind turbines so far as a whole, because I don't think the technology and the production of energy and the fact that how often they need to be repaired and the maintenance, I don't think they've been really successful or as successful as they should be. And I'm hoping with things like this that are more robust, that are more efficient in lower winds, we're getting 22% more efficient in lower wind conditions. Yes. More energy comparable to other turbines, that this kind of thing really starts to take things to the next level, where the turbines and the windmills are longer, reliable. They'll work in more extreme conditions so that you don't have to put them as close to where human beings are. So you don't have that NIMBY, not in my backyard effect. And that we can make a lot more stable, clean energy on the grid. So lower carbon emissions, and more of this. So I'm all for it. I love what we're doing here. I love the fact that, I'm always complaining that they're coming out with new technology, but here we are in Canada and it gets cold, and all the technology they come out with forgets about us. And this one really addressing stuff that we have, issues that we have, and the extreme climate. So I'm really happy to see this, and that we're actually moving forward in the wind turbine area. What about you, John? I know you might not be as down on them as I was.
So I think the design is flawed. Blade design, like these huge, massive blades, I think it's a flawed design. And that's my opinion. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an aerospace engineer, but I think there are much more efficient, smaller forms of wind turbines that can be developed. Now, again, are they able to handle harsh environments? I don't know. But from the research that I've done, there's I think is it Bernoulli? No. Da Vinci. There's one design that is a phenomenal design. It works in urban areas, but I feel like there's so much that can go wrong with these blades. They're massive, they're light, but they're massive. Birds can fly into them. They do generate some noise. It takes wind, a fair amount of wind, I think, to start them up. And again, they're susceptible to ice. So now, if we're talking just this wind turbine, like this design, this technology, I think this is great. I think wind energy in cold climates, from what I gathered, is projected to grow 72% in installed capacity. So this is going to help that for sure.
So I think what you're talking about is vertical access wind turbines that are emerging as a more viable option for urbans and cities and whatnot.
Yeah. So again,
I don't know person who designed it, but
yeah. So I don't know if they can scale that to replace these massive wind turbines, or if it's viable. But I feel like these huge blade designs is just there's got to be a better way. But that's me, and I'm not an expert, so feel free to destroy me in the comments.
And there's all sorts of rules. Like I'm looking right now, for residents of Ontario, any wind turbine project must navigate a full layer of regulatory framework. There's typically a minimum of 550 meters for larger turbines. Those smaller ones have been away from noise receptors, so they can only be so loud. Can be mounted on buildings, may require a building permit with local municipality. However, in Ontario, small wind turbines rated at 3 kilowatts or less do not require a building permit for the tower. There's a lot of stuff, zoning, public hearings. Yeah. I guess that's for everything. That's why the concept of having them farther away, so you don't have this kind of these issues, it's better. Putting it at harsher climates or places where aren't traditionally livable are a great option. And anytime they improve designs, like I'm getting more and more a fan of solar as they become more and more efficient. Yeah. We talked about black metal, we talked about some of the capacitors, we talked about a bunch of the different technologies that are going to take it to the next level. And I'm hoping the next round of these technologies really start moving the needle and are solve a lot of the problems that we're having now with each of them, so that we can really rely on these renewables a lot more and deploy them better.
And don't get me wrong, I think that this development of this technology is far better than what is currently some operators are currently doing or have experimented with, and that's using helicopter-based solutions for ice removal. So they're using a Eurocopter equipped with a simplex aerial cleaning and de-icing system, and that I feel is like, obviously that's a band-aid solution, but I think that for solving a problem in harsh conditions, I think this solution has the best chance so far.
Yeah, and every time we see these, I'm not negative on any of these green technologies. Yeah. Anytime we move forward, I don't like the version 1 of any product. I like version 3 usually. And that's just because it lasts long, it's more efficient, it does the things you want to do without crashing. The same thing with these technologies, they get better and better and better. And as they get better and better, we can now deploy them over 50 years and have them continue to work and not continuously break down. We can have a steady, reliable source of energy that powers the cities at night or whenever, a combination of. So I'm really looking forward to, as these generations move forward, we're really taking leaps forward that we really didn't think we could do 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful. Let me just jump back here. I had to look up the urban wind tunnels.
Oh yeah.
that you had mentioned. Sorry about that. So I went away from where we were talking. So, but that's the scoop on this development. The N175/6X represents a major leap forward in our ability to harness wind power, even in the most challenging environments. It's a powerful new tool in the fight against climate change and for a sustainable energy future. Let us know what your thoughts are. So what do you got going on, John?
Yeah, well, just helping companies secure government funding. So, it's a great time to reach out if you have any questions. How about you, Craig?
Well, there's a lot going on over at flowgrammer.ca. We're doing automation and AI and business processes. We do events, but we're really ramping our business up. And check out all the things we're doing over there. If you're interested in business automation, we've got community events where we're teaching everyone. We do an online, and we're about to launch our new resource center, flowgrammers.ca, which might be out when some of these are out. Other than that, check out for everything we do. Our monthly startup investor drinks, where you get to pitch to the crowd, business owners and investors, and have real conversations and make real connections. So for all those things, check out torontostarts.com. And for everything else, anything else, John, before we say goodbye?
No, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, John Irwin, if you want.
John Irwin on LinkedIn. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.